In Africa, trading second-hand clothes is a booming business. Today, hundreds of thousands of people work in the sale of second-hand clothes. Lubega Abudo is one of them and is stationed at Owino Market, located in the center of Uganda's capital, Kampala. Like many others, Lubega earns a living selling used clothes. He ventures mainly on women clothes. He has now formed a customer base over the years. But while he might not be aware of the policies governing this business, the East African Community Heads of State recently signed an agreement to phase out importation of second-hand clothes in a period of 3 years. Literally, this would have him out of business. But Amelia Chambade, the Minister of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, says the ban intends to transform Uganda into an industrial bloc by improving capacity for production and value addition while creating jobs.
What we are going to do is that we are going to levy a tax. If you are bringing in cement from Tanzania, Tanzania is near, from Zambia, I'm going to levy a tax on that cement, that instead of, when it comes to the market, you are selling it at 40,000 and my cement is at 30. So the Ugandan will go for this cement of the Ugandan. So that is one way of encouraging Ugandans to buy their own.
This, however, is not a shared sentiment, as stakeholders on the ground feel the ban will threaten their meals or for their livelihoods.
Uganda okubaninga emivumo mu Uganda bannaye sikiwagira nako wadde. Ekisooka engoye zaffe, engoye zaffe tetuziseera ate nga tezirina price. Ffe bennyini babaziwa price. Gwamanya wano sibiddewo ebbeeyi bweti wabula kasitoma ye kisinzira kasitoma engeri gy'abazzeemu gye muguzaamu olugoye.
Edgar Waswa Kasozi, a customer, confesses to buying second-hand garments because of their superior quality and being cost-effective compared to brand-new clothes.
Government is doing very, very bad things because many people is using those second-hand clothes. Because second-hand clothes, it is affordable, the price is good, the price of the second-hand, it's not those of the new. They have to put on those, they have to increase the price of the products so that they can pay. But this second-hand, they just go, they pick on any price, you pick on any price of them. Yeah.
According to a report from Uganda Revenue Authority, the business attracts annual revenue of up to 200 billion shillings.
We import about 6 million tons on average per month, and that's about 17 billion per month. In the last 1 year, in 2006, we imported 77 million tons, almost 78 billion tons in the whole year, and collected about 200 billion used products.
By 2014, the imports into the East African community stood at US $300 million, about 1 trillion, up from 100 million, about 300 billion shillings. There have been concerns raised about the health hazards on Mivumba, especially underwears.
We are going to start with the underwear, which are very harmful to human beings. Any clothes that you wear in your private person is harmful. People buy underwears, buy bras, buy petticoats, buy boxers. These are very dangerous. So those are going to face a ban because they're harmful to you and your well-being.
Skin infections mostly, which we have things to do with scabies, fungal infections. We do also have lice from these clothing as well. Some have carried ticks which suck our blood out of them. And you find in most cases, sometimes when one is buying these Mivumba clothing, some people do try them from the stores or from wherever they're buying from, so that means they have not been disinfected or even cleaned.
At least 4,000 containers of second-hand clothes are being received every year, and for Uganda to achieve an effective ban on importation of second-hand clothes, clear policies have to be implemented.
If that was to happen, then there would be alternative mitigation measures that are put in place. For example, if the ban is about promoting local manufacturing, which I think should be emphasize it, then you would expect that the taxes foregone as a result of the ban are recovered through the local sales of the locally produced materials.
Analysts think the ban will not solve the problem.
The textile industry has its own problems of supply. The cotton growing farmers, some of them have found different alternative crops to do, which give them more money. But also cotton, the supply system, the inputs have disturbed quite a number of farmers, extension services, but also the prices have not been very good. So a number of farmers themselves have not been producing the cotton, but also up the value chain as you continue upwards in terms of ginning, in terms of making of the yarn, the fabric. There have been some kind of a number of problems to that. That it is easier to concentrate maybe on making uniforms for schools and a few other things.
Uganda has been performing dismally under AGOA, with duty-free tax declining from shillings 11 billion to about shillings 4 billion as of 2015. The argument is that imported clothes are so cheap that local textile factories and self-employed tailors cannot compete. So does Uganda have textiles to produce clothes?
The textile industry is still very low. For example, we have only 90 and fine spinners, there are only 2. So we are saying, and government has ruled that government should be an example and ensure that the government security organizations should buy uniforms from Nigeria, and they've already started doing that. You have prisons, police, UPDF. They're already buying. They used to import their uniforms.
Uganda imports at least 1,500 tons of second-hand clothing annually from the United States alone. The East African Community urged governments to make sure used clothes imports complied with the standards. Used knickers were banned in Ghana in 2011 due to poor standards. So are standards really a big deal for Ugandans?
We have a compulsory Uganda standard for used clothes, and among the items in there, the criteria of inspection for used clothes, we require that the clothes are fumigated from the country of export. They should also not have used underwear, undergarments.
Some African countries like Nigeria, Eritrea and South Africa banned used clothing in order to protect their own domestic textile industries, which create a thriving and quite open black market. Report by Simon Semazi for Urban TV.